Hi and welcome to this unboxing video. Before we start, I would like to do something that I would not normally do, or thankfully will need to do, but I would like to dedicate this video to the Misgab family, who had just yesterday lost a loving wife and mother, and my heartfelt sympathies go out to you in your time of sorrow. May you never experience any more of it. So that's that, and let's get cracking. The unboxing for today is going to be the number 3 battle pack Normandy for Combat Commander. Now, the battle pack, unlike the big box editions, like obviously Combat Commander Europe, the base game, which is required for the in order to play any sort of Combat Commander game, including of course this one, and then Mediterranean, which is also used in some of these scenarios here, and Pacific's a big one. I think Resistance about to come out, which is a big one. These battle packs are small, and they come in these quite horrible storage bags, but you know, they do cut down on the cost, so there's that. And the reason why the cardboard up here is a bit crumpled is because of that. And actually I bought that this game when I was on a trip, so it did get a bit crumpled in my suitcase as well, but it doesn't really affect the inner workings, as you're about to see. So anyway, that's the front cover, and it specifies 70 new scenarios, 8 new battle maps, and 176 new counters. On the flip side of it, we have the usual GMT back of box style, where we have some description, an example of the map, counters, complexity, and solitaire suitability. It also says here, obviously, that you'll need Combat Commander Europe, the base game, in order to play any of the scenarios in here, and that 8 of them can be played only with Combat Commander Europe. In order to play all 17 scenarios, you're going to need Combat Commander Mediterranean as well, because the Commonwealth forces and French forces required to play some of these scenarios only come in Mediterranean. Europe comes with Germans, Americans, and the Russians, which are not actually used in Normandy, obviously. So that's that, and let's take a look inside. Opening this up, we have first of all the Combat Commander Battle Pack 3 Normandy playbook. The game was designed, by the way, by John A. Foley. The expansion, the original Combat Commander, of course, was designed by Chad Jensen, both of them for GMT. And the Combat Commander playbook is 12 pages long, cover to cover, full color, as you can see, and it basically has only 2 themes in it. It has let me show you, it has the Normandy special rules, which govern such things as bocage and beach landings, and I think night fighting. And then you have scenario 56 rules, because scenario 56 is a campaign actually, which is an intriguing part of what you get inside. And a lot of these are the rules for the campaign, most of it actually. Pages 2 to 8 and then 9 to 12 are the special rules for Normandy, which may or may not be used in some, all of them, some of them, or none of them used in various scenarios here. So let me just set this one aside. Then we have one counter sheet, 176 counters. Most of them, as you can see, are German over here and American, but you do have some French and some British counters and some obviously general ones. A lot of them, you'll probably notice, are officers. Actually, the campaign actually allows for one German commander and one American commander, Craig's Head for the Americans, and then Heinzmann, I hope you can see that, for the Germans, to level up as you progress through the campaign. So you can see that we have a Sergeant Craig's Head up here, and then over here we have Second Lieutenant Craighead, I'm sorry, I don't know why I put an S in there. First Lieutenant Craighead, and then Captain Craighead, and the same goes for Heinzmann over there. So those are the counters. That's the flip side of it, with the reduced, or I can't recall what they're called, broken side. I just now set this aside as well. We also have 3 paper maps. These are double-sided, colored, as you can see, in I guess heavy paper stock. So here's, for example, map number 38, and actually the maps go 38 all the way to 45, if I remember correctly. It might be 46. This one, for example, is used, amongst other things, for Pegasus Bridge, and it's an interesting one because you have 2 big areas on each side, and then a very wide river, which obviously you can't cross except for this choke point. So with 2 victory point locations, points to control in order to win the scenario, or at least progress yourself towards that. So I'm sure playing on this either as Pegasus or using even the random scenario generator is going to be an interesting bit. On the other side we have a little bit of a beach here, a beach landing, some water and hills. I'm not going to open all of them because if you know anything about Commander maps, you've seen it all. But we have 1, 2, 3 and then 4 of those, and again those are all double-sided. I'll just open this one real quick. So you actually get 8 maps, and this one is quite lovely. As you can see, there's a big swath of beach here, of sand, coming up to these shingles, I suppose, and the trenches. So there's a lot of interesting new themes here that come in this pack. And then lastly we have these scenario cards. Now the game cards with these heavy cardstock, full color, double-sided cardstock cards, and they tell you the scenario. They go from scenario 46 all the way to I want to say 59, 61, all the way to 61. And as you can see, they all have the usual Combat Commander style, if you're familiar with that, where you've got mission briefing, and then all of the different setup, the forces, some of them that come as reinforcements, special rules. You can see, for example, this has Normandy rules, Night special rule, and so on. And that's one scenario. Here's the other one. That's one, for example, is an historical one for Pont du Hoc. And then we have, and that's it's called 47A, and then we have 47B over here, which is a planned version of taking a point at Pont du Hoc. As I understand it, I could be wrong, but as I understand it, historically, the Allied plans were not implemented all that well, so the historical one is probably leaning more towards the German, whereas the planned one leans more towards the Allies or the Americans. And it goes on like that. I'm not going to show you everything because, you know, those are scenarios. I am going to finish though with one thing. I consider this clip is actually getting a bit long, but I hope you'll indulge me because scenario 56 over here actually comes with 2 pages, and we can set them up side by side like so. We have page 1 and page 2. I hope that it's legible. Let me just, you know what, even zoom in a little bit. I hope that would be good. And it's called 29 Let's Go because you use as the American, the 29th American US Army Infantry Division. The Germans, I'm not sure actually what they use, but the way it works basically is you start here, and then if the Americans win, you go to this map. If the Germans win, you go to over there, and it progresses, and it's basically a 4 out of 7, so best of 7 wins the campaign, and you can track assets and points as you progress. If you win, you get a certain number of points. If you lose, you've got reinforcements that you can buy according to the points that you have and according to dice rolls. Like I showed you, some of the guys around here, Sergeant Craigshead and Sergeant Heinzmann, can both progress in levels and become more and more useful. You have a different sort of complement of soldiers that you can bring in or will be brought in depending on the results, which gives you a lot of playability, of replayability, and as I understand it, there are also such things as simulated off-map artillery attacks and armor attacks, which can change things for both sides. And basically that's what you get in the Battle Pack number 3, Normandy, for Combat Commander Europe, the expansion. So thanks for watching. I hope that you found this video informative and useful as always, and do come again.